If you like the video, please consider supporting James Corp on Patreon. Hello everyone, and we're live with part 2 or week 2 or whatever you want to call it of our RuneQuest The Broken Tower playthrough thingamabobby. That's what I'm calling it, a thingamabobby, because that describes everything. I'm James Corp, I'm the hostess with the mostess.
Okay, so the Grey Dog clan, led by, what was his name? Darkov? I can't read my terrible handwriting. Danikos. My God, my handwriting sucks.
Danikos.
Anyways, they stole about 60 cattle. So we are making chase across the Badlands to find them. We came across one who was dead, had their throat cut, and that was when we befriended Crazy Old Man. And after Crazy Old Man, we continued on. He told us about a stone lady, and we found an ancient road. There were these kind of stone statues along it that kind of looked like the kind of the primitive Venuses. They were all banged up. Then we were attacked by rock lizards, and there was a cattle running away all afraid. That is all I can recall off the top of my head. Anyone?
We've got one lizard to find, and we spoke to the lady's spirit, the older person, who revealed that Danikos had slain her.
Yes.
Yeah, that was Lanique.
Yes, Lanique. Lanique also revealed that Danikos was the one who actually, rather than just stealing the cattle, killed the peasants guarding the cattle, members of our clan.
Well, the herders are not peasants.
Well,
herders are vitally important.
Vitally important members of the clan who were not loyal. So they were murdered. This is not normal in a cattle raid. Normally you just knock them out and nick the cattle, which is fine. Well, not fine, it's nasty. Except when we do it.
Well, you I guess, or you just point your swords at them and go, don't do anything silly, well, we'll take your cattle.
Pick them up, exactly.
Yeah, pretty much.
Danikos will die. We will avenge her. We will avenge our fallen clan members. And kill them.
Okay. Now I'm going to raise a point of one of the customs on Glorantha, and it's certainly amongst the Sartarite tribes, and that's custom of ransom. Okay. So yes, you can fight people to death, and yes, you can kill them, and that's acceptable under certain circumstances. But it's also perfectly acceptable, and in some cases preferable, to capture people for ransom, because that automatically because what will happen is if you capture him, you would you basically hold him to ransom, and his tribe would be forced to pay to have him returned.
That is better for those who are with Danikos. We'll happily ransom them, but Danikos. Okay. It's just that's something to bear in mind for all of you. That's something that you would know. That's the sort of the standard standard procedure if you have a battle. It's not necessarily to the death or a situation at the moment, but it may very well be ransom. And all of you have your own ransom values if you have a look on your character sheets.
Wow.
Essentially, that's how much your people would pay for your safe return.
Wow.
And they say life is cheap. I'm worth like 500.
I can't find mine. What is it?
It's at the bottom of the character sheet.
Left, usually. See, under my reputation, it hasn't printed it.
Well, I can have a look. Hold on.
You are beyond value. You are beyond.
Worthless.
What
You're
about
worthless.
my character?
Oh, she's not worth anything. But...
just looking for you now. 1 moment, listener.
It's probably a typo and they forgot to put it in.
You are worth 1,000 lunas.
Oh.
What?
Is that good?
You're worth twice as much as me.
Yeah.
Another son of the chieftain.
Yeah, but I speak Old Wormish, so that's quite desirable.
Yeah.
and other languages.
Yeah, it's probably certainly unusual.
Okay.
Mm.
So,
I guess your skills are more unique.
so the other things we established last week was that Vostor is very good at moving without being heard or walking without being seen. That Yanios is of marriageable, and certainly as far as crazy old men in the woods or in the hills are concerned. And
Crazy old man, I'm irresistible.
You should change your perfume.
So, you as this part 2 opens, you it is you have been traveling for about a couple of hours up into the Badlands of the Starfire Ridges. So if you have a look on the map, you hopefully should be able to see that. Okay. Just wait for it to click through, but essentially, you have literally just got headed west from the village where the cattle raid took place, and then turned north into the Badlands and are continuing up steeper into the Badlands on the Starfire Ridges. The terrain is more broken, but there's a lot. It's more wooded than basically than where you encountered Lanik and Catholic for the first time, and you're also now on this battered and ancient road where you encountered the rock lizards attacking the single steer, and you all handily managed to pierce and chop the rock lizards apart, sending them squealing and in pain, or straight out killing them away from you. Unless Yanios went round and collected all the meat for her husband to be.
Sorry to say this, but meat's back on the menu, boys.
Oh my word!
Someone had to say it.
Yeah.
I'll show myself out.
So and we wrangled that lone cattle that was being chased by the lizards back. Is that correct?
No, it ran off, didn't it?
It ran off. But yes, you can. I'm not going to make you roll for that unless because you can all get you can go and get that.
Okay.
So,
I mean, do we? Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So as this part 2 opens, you find yourselves sort of like climbing up the Starfire Ridges on this broken and battered road. The occasionally the edge of the road marked with these strange statues with this sort of very very ancient and primitive depiction of a woman. And what are you doing?
The depiction of a woman had like what looked like the earth runes on the bottom, didn't it?
I will have a look.
Yeah, because the earth ones are the squares.
Yeah.
Can I pass on that information that Cartholo gave me?
Yeah.
Okay. So, before we left his shack, Cartho told me that the stone woman is some sort of destructive goddess associated with the earth. Came from the time of the Gods' War. And she is not a creature of chaos, but she has cleared the region of her menhir. Is that how you pronounce that?
Menhir. Yeah.
Menhir, the standing stones and idols. Anyways, the Thalassians of old, they used to worship her as some sort of earth deity, he believes, so he's also crazy. And she was a goddess of the herd. So she's evidently been long asleep or dead, and the only remnant is a ghost memory. And there also might be more than one, by the way, that's wandering the Badlands, since a goddess can have lots of dreams over the centuries. So there are going to be one or more possible ancient goddesses of the herd or something wandering around. So
Reams of a dead goddess.
yeah,
So are we to make the assumption at this point that somehow the leader of the Grey Dogs has fallen under her sway and has gathered a herd to give her in tribute?
that sounds plausible to me. Well, Pookie, does that sound plausible to me?
It's sounds certainly plausible.
Totally plausible. Yes. Yes. As my expertise as a priestess.
Gosh.
So I guess we're going following this road then, aren't we?
And there's still a
Hang on.
trail. We can,
So-
there's still
so-
the
so-
cattle that we can follow.
So, because I'm an absolute idiot and don't know much about the law, what does it mean by the dreams of a goddess? What does that mean? Like, what is it? Is it like an afterthought? I don't know. A shadow? A memory?
Those are all Vostor. Those are all good questions. And
No one's going to answer them.
Oh, okay. All right.
okay, they could. The answer to them could all be yes.
Okay. Brilliant.
It could also be no, and it could also be maybe.
Yep.
That's what.
So,
RuneQuest likes.
so should I take it?
At the
So,
same time.
so for an idiot side, like because of me, right? So if I think of Discworld and the gods, like they get bigger and smaller depending on how many people worship them, type thing.
Yeah.
No,
It is the case in some cases.
in some cases, but not all. It's okay. Yes, a god, a deity or a being will diminish in power. As with fewer worshippers, eventually, it basically, in some cases, and it may well be the case with this, or it may not.
Okay.
Different, according to depending if there is. Yeah, it's different with each deity. I mean, some deities have been completely forgotten. So forgotten that even the Lancome don't have records about them.
That's true. I've checked.
Vostor, we're dealing with ancient, mysterious shit.
Okay.
That's what I understand from this.
All right.
I think you're all right.
Just trying to be the layman here. Do you know what I mean?
Oh,
Fair enough. No. Again,
reasonable question.
yeah, they are reasonable questions. It's just unfortunate there are no straight answers to them. So, essentially, it is the weather. It is cold. It is damp. It is and there is a light rain this morning. And the clouds do appear to be sort of like they're slowly roiling towards, sort of like away from you up the hill.
Okay.
So
Oh,
we're
go
following the
ahead.
herd, aren't we?
You are. So your location, you are all essentially back together. You've got this single steer with you. You are still on this ancient and battered remnants of this road.
Okay. Well, I just
Onwards, I think. Unless
I'm going to take point. I'm going to go in. I'm going to take point and lead the minions. Whatever. I don't know. Oh yeah, I'm going to take point.
Sorry. Okay, I actually think that's perfect lunar attitude, to be honest.
Okay. All right.
Minions sounds about right when it comes to the Lunar Empire. So
rebelled.
yeah, as long as you don't call them minions, you'll be fine.
Oh no, I don't. I don't call them the minions to their face.
Because the plains is a big empty place, so we could easily lose you.
Especially with the bush.
You know what I'm
especially
saying?
especially if I'm walking over a bush or had a box over my head or a towel over my head, I could
If
I
we
could
could
get
see
anywhere.
you, we would
Exactly.
let you
Exactly.
Just remember,
Exactly.
you can't see us. We can't see you.
I'm Agent 47 of the RuneQuest world.
Okay, so I presume you continue following this road.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep my eyes peeled as well as we go.
Yeah, no problem. Okay, so you continue going up, following the road, goes up and down. The weather is beginning to get slightly worse, and yeah, would you all like to make scan rolls, please? Okay. Oh,
Fail.
I'm just waiting to see how whether Seth is gonna.
No,
One
that's
success.
fail.
No.
Totally bombed that. Don't worry.
Okay, so Vostor.
Fail.
Okay, right. So Vostor and the Sonny, you both noticed that there certainly seems to be the crowd. The movement of the clouds seems to be towards one point. It certainly seems to be coalescing, of a point further up the hill.
So I'm going to stop the. I'm going to stop the. I'm going to stop the hurt. I'm going to stop the trowel, whatever Indian symbols or whatever we use. Like the Halt symbol, and I'm going to turn to one of the people that are good at magic, and go, "That's not normal, right?"
Well, like the gods, it can be. It is and it isn't.
Now we get it. So the clouds, are you sure it's not dirt being kicked up by cattle?
Do you want to make another scan? Do you want to check?
Well, I failed my first scan roll.
Okay. Okay.
Right, I'm going to say
It's-
that does not look like dirt being kicked up by the cattle,
It
mainly
doesn't look
because
like dirt.
mainly because it's in the sky, quite high up, and cattle's generally a ground creature. And if it's going to kick up
Did you say
dirt,
cows are generally a ground creature?
yeah, you get water cows.
It's the air cows that give me the willies.
But no,
Sorry,
but if the ground,
sorry,
if the dirt was being kicked up, it'd still be quite low to the ground. That's kind of that's a bit high up to be like dirt being kicked up.
surely Orlanth would approve of air cows.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, he
Praise
has
be to
them,
Orlanth.
doesn't he? He does. He has a buffalo, flying buffalo, doesn't he?
Yeah.
It sounds more and more like whatever it's called, Avatar and the Last Airbender.
So air cows are all Anth's main weapon in the war from the other air with the red goddess.
So this weather phenomenon, this
Yes.
doesn't look normal. This is something that would just be disconcerting to both me and
Oh,
Boss
would you-
Stork when we see it.
Okay. Yeah. If you would like to make, let me see. If you've got, let me see, the equivalent of meteorology. Let's have a look. Somewhere I have a character sheet. Where are we? So I'm just looking for my own. There we go. My own character sheet. So I've got my other game. The knowledge skill.
Would it be an area law?
Yeah. Or you can make a air rune roll.
Who
Okay.
has that? I've got 40%.
Live 90.
Yeah, you're all Anth. You should.
Ooh,
you should.
Yeah.
I've got 50. I've got a 50% chance. Oh, I succeeded.
I failed like a big fail.
So yeah, I made the air room roll barely.
So did
Okay. Okay. So yeah. Yeah. No. Obviously, if you think this is clearly not clearly not normal weather pattern, and certainly anyone with who has experience of worshipping Orlanth, it certainly has nothing. It's not connected to his worship.
All right.
Hmm.
So yeah, I'll make a suggestion to Vostor, since he's leading the train, that and to the rest, that this doesn't seem natural. This This is not something of Orlant's doing or his followers. We probably should proceed with caution.
Yeah, and but do we want to investigate?
Shelter? Do we need to seek shelter?
The weather's not bad enough for that. It was bad enough for that last night.
Maybe last night was an omen from Orland.
Do we want to investigate? Do we want to go have a look and see what's could possibly be causing it?
Well, isn't it the direction we're already going? That we see it ahead of us, or is it off to the side?
It's ahead of you.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Oh, okay, we've got to go that way then.
We keep on going then.
Okay.
I suggest for everyone to get some bushes.
You suggest stealth? Yes.
Sorry, what was that word again?
No.
It's moving without being seen. We abbreviate it to stealth.
Yeah.
It's actually walking without being spotted, but yeah.
Same thing.
It changes and grows in the telling.
That's how myths go. Yes.
Yeah. So, Jess, you continue up the hill, and you come over the crest of one hill, and ahead of you, you can see appears to be a complex of buildings topped by looks to be like a tower. And essentially, what you've come through sort of like a wooded area on the basically that goes over the top of this rise and down the slope, and then ahead you have what I will just show you on the map.
Oh.
Okay, everybody see that coming through?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Would we be able to identify the architecture as what who's associated with it?
At this distance, no, but it's nothing that you've seen before.
Oh.
So I'm going to turn to the locals because they're from around these parts, and we like. So who lived here then?
That's a good question.
Because I'm not from around these parts. If you catch my drift.
Yeah.
So
We figured that out.
Brilliant.
See, we live in this area. Why have we not seen this place before?
It's in the Badlands. You don't necessarily go into the Badlands. It's contested territory.
Okay, yeah, because we would take the road around the Badlands.
Yeah, if you have a look,
Well, but it's like you never visit the tourist places in the place that you live, so that makes sense. So this is obviously an abandoned ruin. Does the trail of cow passage and poop just head that way still?
it does.
Okay.
And is the storm thing is it centered
Yeah,
above
it
this?
seems to be. It seems to sort of like be centered over this ruin.
I think we should
Guys, we're in
proceed.
a Marvel movie.
It's blue light up into the sky.
Yeah, is there a blue
Got a
light?
big glowing gem.
Okay, so
Since
so which Marvel heroes are you now? I've forgot.
I'm Dice Fail Boy. So we're looking down on it. Can we see any movement from where we are?
It's a bit far away.
Okay.
It is this distance. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, essentially what you can see, it's a hilltop complex of basically some sort walled and surrounded by smaller buildings. You can see that most of the buildings have crumbled. Though there is a sort of cylindrical tower that sticks up above the far walls. I mean, basically, it looks to be the only building there of any height.
How close do the woods get to the outer wall of the?
You're essentially looking down. You sort of like you're on a rise, sort of looking up onto the next rise where this tower is, this complex is. So the woods sort of peter out just sort of like into the gully before you.
Okay, because I didn't want to come wandering up this open road if we could cut through the woods.
No, there is a clear. Basically, the opposing slope is clear of vegetation.
Should we leave our horses here and like proceed by foot? That would like reduce our chance of being spotted on the approach.
Problem with that is we know there are rock lizards around.
Oh, okay, all right.
We might come back and not have any horses left.
I said, by the way, every time I hear rock lizards, I think rock lobster, and I want to sing that stupid song.
Do you think the old man was confused, and that's why he really liked to eat lizards?
What you're saying?
So-
He's eating mountain lobster.
Yeah.
Oh, that rare mountain lobster.
Far better than Rocky Mountain oysters, though.
Yeah.
So, okay, so we don't want to leave our horses here because rock lizards.
Well, we could dismount.
I'm still uneasy taking the big, wide open road straight up to the door. If anybody else wants to maybe circle around.
What's the because it looks like there's like remains of buildings on the road towards the main settlement. Is there not?
It looks like it.
Yeah.
Could we use that for our like to get around? At least we could get to the. I don't know what side of the wall is. I don't know what way it's facing. We could get to like.
Well, you are the direction in which you can see the picture. That you've come in. You've approached it from the south, and that's you're looking north.
So yes, if we head to like the southeast section, we might be able to find a. We might find.
Well, sorry, I was going to say if you look on the image, the map, you can see there are broken buildings outside of the complex.
Right.
So,
yes, if we use those as our like to cover our silhouettes or whatever, I don't know, and head to the wall and start going counterclockwise around. Well, we don't know what clockwise is, but if we start heading that way around the wall, we might be able to find a damaged part of the wall and get through in that way.
Well, number 2 is a landslide. Surely to be a way through there.
Yeah. You can basically see that. I mean, obviously,
all right.
You can see that the path of the cattle is up the up the road that goes into the complex.
Okay, so
How many of these grey dogs are we expecting?
Okay, so what you know that there were 5 involved in the cattle raid.
So there's 4 now.
One of them is dead.
But that's not the biggest issue though. The biggest issue, there might be a dreaming goddess or something floating around.
Oh yeah, but she'll probably notice us anyway.
Okay. Could I have scan rolls, please? So anybody who is actually looking over this ruin from afar.
I think we all are, aren't we, really?
I remember that if you roll under a 5th or under of your score, it's a special, and 1/20th is a critical.
No.
Did anyone pass, by the way? Because I didn't.
Yeah.
Whale.
I did in a very ordinary way.
Okay. Anyone who passes, which I gather is just Harmast, you see the quick movement of someone's head peeking up over one of the walls, and peeps up, looks around, pops down again.
We're not hidden in any way, are they? So they've spotted us.
No, not so. Well, as far as I'm aware, you are still in the. You're sort of like on the slope in the forest. You've not actually left the forest yet.
Okay.
You've not told me that. So basically, you're looking out over. You basically got to the point where you can see something of the opposing the terrain opposite on the hill.
Yeah, saying okay, they've got a lookout there, sort of to the right, just along there for the wall. They just popped up.
Right. So I think the best approach, since we know someone's definitely there, would be to make our way around to the rear and try to see if we can get up through the landslide.
I agree.
The direct approach, definitely we do not want to alert them to our presence. So,
Well, no, they're going to have lots of time for arrow fire while we're just trying to close and all sorts of things. like that.
I am total agreement, sis.
See, we could probably put our horses somewhere in the woods. I'm not sure rock lizards go into the woods much, but I don't know.
I think if we're out of the Badlands, the woods are safe enough.
oh,
You're
there
still
is
in
my
the
bison,
Badlands.
We're
Yeah,
deep in
you're
the Badlands.
Yeah.
but there is my bison. It's a trained war mount that it might be able to at least provide some protections for your horses while we make our way to the landslide. So,
Yeah. Can you say to it like protect or something?
that's moo.
Uh, next week on Cow Talk for Beginners.
No, I should roll though. To be fair, it is 95 with bison, but we should let the dice decide.
Well, if the thing is, if it's a spiritually awakened animal, then yes, but I don't think it is.
Oh, but I mean, it will it will react accordingly if lizards do approach. So
yeah, I mean the point is yeah.
What was that point?
What was the point?
It will.
and, well, if we actually lose the horses, we have several head of cattle that could be mounted and ridden back.
I'm sure they love that.
Yes.
Okay. So you are dismounting, tying up horses and bisons and zebras,
Yes.
and proceeding forth. Are you going ahead into the buildings at the foot of the opposing slope, or basically because essentially the woods don't go all the way around around this complex, so you have to break cover at some point.
Now on our way there, because we're probably going to have to dash across the open land, are there any ruined buildings we might come across where we could just ditch our horses?
What the nearest ruined buildings are on the opposing slope below.
Okay.
So you could actually ditch them in. You could put them in there if you wanted to.
Yeah, and get the bison to guard the door.
Yeah, just set it in the doorway and be all like, "Let no one in but us." Yeah.
Oh, I've got an idea.
How do you say that in Bison?
Oh,
Moo-ah.
oh.
Ah.
This may sound crazy, but I've got an idea.
I'm bracing for it.
Did Luna say something?
Right. What happens if we take everything off the horses, right, and stash that in here, and send the horses in as a distraction? No one on them. They'll go, oh look, some wild horse or whatever. Someone's lost their horse, and they'll come and take them. And while they're doing that, we've got chance to like move around and not be so spotted.
We could do that with the one head of cattle we have. That one
Don't
steer.
need to do it with all of our. Yeah, I think it's clear there's someone here. If we get the animals.
Yeah, but if we send the horses in, we could potentially tie them up for a bit.
Well, the cattle's a good idea, though. I like where you're going with the idea of the horses, but the cattle might actually gain their attention without making them suspicious.
Yeah, because if it's horses, they're going to know somebody's here. If it's a single cow, maybe they'll be all like, "Oh, hey, we lost one. Go out to get it," and then we club them over the head, and if it's not jerkface Danikos, we tie him up and we ransom them back. And if it's jerkface Danikos, we kill him.
Well spoken, Yanni.
Is that his family name, Jerkface?
That
And not only that, we know they're collecting cows, right? Well, we suspect they're collecting cows.
that's spoken like a true cavalry woman. So
Like
I have a moment of pride for my sister. Yes. So yeah, I think they combine. Maybe try to see if we just release the lone cattle and then either try to take them by surprise or make our way around to see if there's another way to get in.
Release the cow.
But a good thought, a good thought, Vostor, on the way it led
Okay.
it.
All right.
Okay. Okay. So first, what are you doing with your horses?
I would want to put him in the first building we could get to. That's not,
Okay.
directly like. I don't want it to be like right in front of where this lookout is. But if we could get to one, basically turn it into a corral. That's what I'd like to do.
I'm
Okay.
all for that.
Okay. That's perfectly possible. You can do that. Let's have a look. Essentially, any of the buildings you could choose and just basically just tie them up as you would normally when you're out and you need to dismount. In terms of putting the bison, the guard, essentially the problem is the bison would just occupy the doorway. You just basically plug the doorway with the bison.
That's a perfect plan. So
That's effective. We'll just use a
Oops,
bison like a cork.
Yeah. Yeah.
all right.
What's the moo cow word for plug?
Mu A.
Moo A. Right.
Yeah, I'm learning so much today.
In the news
Big-
the next
big
day,
Log in the door.
crazy Texan tries speaking with cows and gets run over.
That's pretty normal around here.
There's lots who think they can do it, but only a few who actually can.
Cow whisperers.
Okay. When you get down to these buildings, okay, and you basically just start preparing yourself. Could I have listen rolls, please?
What rolls?
Listen.
Oh. If I can find my okay.
Oh, succeed! I rolled a 2. That's like
So awful at everything.
that's like extra.
Oh, pass.
That's like amazing success, isn't it? A 2 on
What's
40.
your listen skill?
40.
Yeah, I think that's good enough.
That's a critical.
Yeah. Just checking the folder of criticality. Yes, that is a critical. So anybody who made it, you hear the quick patter of footsteps echoing through the complex above you, likely from somebody wearing boots. Anyone who made a special, basically, if you made a better roll than that, basically you hear cattle, the sound of cattle lowing, but you can, and Vostok can definitely tie it down as coming from near the central building.
The tower.
Mm.
So the cows are corralled inside the tower.
No, I think they're outside the tower, but like near it. If you look at the map, you can see amazing drawings of like some cattle.
Oh, yeah, it's a bit of a giveaway, that, isn't it? Okay, so well, our horses have been taken care of now, and they've got the bison meat plug in the doorway, so we can actually start planning how we're going to get in there.
if you if anyone has the skill, they can make battle rolls.
Battle. I've got that.
It's a knowledge
Okay.
skill.
Oh, I could do
Meanwhile-
that better than I could listen.
We can hope.
I actually made that listen roll. I mean, not well, but I did it.
Okay. Remember what
I
we do
did as
whenever.
well.
Remember what we do whenever Seth makes a roll.
Yay.
Well, you do not need to do that for battle.
Okay. Okay. Looking at this building, this complex, it's defensible, but this is not the walls are not fortifications, and it's not actually you'd think it's probably not suited for defense purposes.
Okay.
Were we still going to try to make our way around to where we saw the rock slide area and try to get in there, or? I mean, it's obviously elevated in the back because there's there's a ramp, right? Obviously, there's a dirt ramp going up into the complex. So, yeah.
See, if we cut to the left by where number 1 is, then cut to the inside of the wall, well, sorry, the outside of the wall, but close to it, and work our way around, we can get to number 2, hopefully without being seen, because there's a fair amount of wall left.
Okay, and without using, without like slapping the cow on the rear and sending him up the dirt ramp into 1.
Well, we
I'm
could
still
do,
for
couldn't we?
smacking the cow and sending it up.
Yes.
Okay.
I think possibly smack the cow is saved for the late night version of this. But this.
RuneQuest After Dark.
No, yeah.
We all have to talk close like Asimar when we do that. So
Now we're gonna play smack the cow.
So yeah, I mean, I'm all for creating that distraction. Would it benefit us if someone who has a higher herding sets the cow on its way, or is it just something that we just send it and see how it goes?
It would take a herd roll.
Okay.
It would take a good herd roll because you're trying to send a cow, and you're trying to get that cow to do something it probably doesn't want to do.
I have heard, but I don't have heard well, and I'm dice cursed.
Perfect.
And anyone else?
No, we were raised by the same parents, so my herding is not that well either. Anyone
even
above a
know what I'm
20.
What skill does it fall under?
Herd.
I don't even think I've got it.
No, I don't have it.
I have it, but I failed it.
Okay.
See,
send it. Basically, there's sort of like, this steer doesn't want to do anything. It's not feeling very well.
Okay.
It kind of really doesn't want to go anywhere.
It's not like a big cat. We could just point a laser pointer that direction.
It had been attacked by the rock lizards. Let's not forget that it had like big scratch marks down its side, so it's probably not in its happy place, is it?
Well, let me attempt my herd. Stranger things have happened.
Yeah, definitely not ready for smack the cow.
Oh my word.
Okay. Fortunately, that's not a fumble.
I didn't fumble.
Now, could I try my?
Okay.
Could I try demoralize?
What happens? What happens is it bellows at you, Yanios, and attempts to basically nudge you with its horns, but you manage to get out of the way beforehand.
Everything wants to marry me.
Can we try some magic to make it do what we want?
Has anyone got compel cow?
What about demoralize?
That'll just depress it.
Yeah, I think it's all.
We'll just have a socially awkward cow.
Sorry. Sorry, shouldn't that be demoralize?
Yes.
I've got.
Thank you and good night.
I have flight. I can make the flying cow.
Yeah, God.
See, mine are all knowledgey, kind of find or detect. I haven't got anything like tell cow to do thing. I mean, that's really the kind of forte of an earth priestess, wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
Well, or somebody, well, possibly, or someone who knows beast speech.
Does anyone know beast speech? I'm going to know it now, aren't I?
I don't have it.
Does Vasana have it?
Beach speech. Let's see. Trade talk, alien, storm speech, but not no. New Pelorian. Is that cowish?
Cowish.
Well,
It's Bovinian.
Bovidian.
I mean, yeah. The only. I mean, whatever I would use would burn it, shock it, kill it. So yeah, there's really nothing.
And all you wanted to do was smack the cow.
Well, okay.
So now
would it be? Yeah.
Okay. Again, the only way you're going to really, I think you don't have the magic to really influence this cow.
This is a weird conversation.
Yeah. And the only skill that would be herd. Has everyone made their herd rolls?
I don't have her to make a roll.
Yeah, no. Okay. So I think
don't have
everyone.
either.
No. Okay. This cow isn't going anywhere.
Awesome.
Well, guys, it was a good plan.
Yeah, it is definitely.
I mean-
definitely demuralized.
We could just leave it to wander.
No, we're gonna have to pull out our bison plug and stick a cow in there and replug our building.
Bison.
Yeah.
hog. That's just weird.
Well, we can still circle round
Right.
as planned.
Try our
just
best.
have the distraction.
Yeah. Or let's just light a fire and then they'll come and investigate.
Yeah, but then there are no people that are there, though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That was the flaw with
All right, it was a bad plan. What do you want?
a good plan.
Oh, all right, I'll get it right on that.
All right. So I
Okay.
think
One thing I
have-
am noticing, there's a
Mhm.
couple of statues of the well, statues. It doesn't say what they're of, but I'm assuming they're of the stone woman,
Stone
lady, or was it
Stone woman.
Stone lady.
stone woman?
So there's surround. We can see some of it, right? As far, okay.
Also, area law dragon pass rolls if people.
Oh, I might pass this one.
Yeah.
Nope, don't have it.
No, that's fine.
No, I'm terrible. No.
Ah, ha, ha. I think it might be time to invoke a passion at some point.
Roll
Yeah.
20 hates us today.
It really does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
The virus is spreading.
Yeah. Who's invoked their passion? Hate roll d20.
Hate roll.
I don't know. Could I
D20.
have that passion? Preferably at 100%. Otherwise, it would never trigger.
I've got fear of dragons, but dragons aren't really
Okay.
going to.
So everybody. Okay. So have you all rolled your area homeland law for dragon pass?
Yeah.
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 Don't have
I've
it.
got.
Yeah.
I've only got 25%, and I'm a priestess of Blanco Mai.
Yeah, but
You've got your mind on higher things.
yes.
You're trying to figure out how to motivate a cow. I mean, that's distracting.
I mean, all the time you
That-
should have been studying the locale. You were learning Old Wormish.
Yeah. Yeah. If only
can I say?
if only you were dealing with a dragon at this point, you'd have better success than dealing with the cow.
I mean, a dragon newt would do at this point.
You were
Hold on, I better check my best trick. Oh, I get some dragon newts in here.
You should try.
Okay.
You could try speaking to the cow in Old Wormish.
Now, if it answered back, that would be bad, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I mean that's you don't want it to answer you.
No.
Okay.
That's
So
not to risk it.
okay.
So should we just do the plan that we had without the cow?
Yeah.
So what you work your way around. I presume that you are basically you go around the left hand side. And yeah, it seems all quite quiet. Those of you who have made list rolls, you can hear the sound of the lone cattle inside. You are by this point. On this side, there are obviously, because what it looks like is you leave the cover of the buildings where you were, work your way past the ramp, going up, and then follow the wall round. And there are no buildings here, so you are literally, and there's no real cover either. It's open. It's open slope. So I presume you're quite tight into the wall as you go around.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And yeah, you get to a point where the sort of like almost round to the rear of the complex, and there's been an obvious landslide.
So can I cast the spirit magic spell Farsi
Yes.
to see if anyone's looking for us? To scan the ruins to see if there's, spirit binoculars and all that, and have a look around.
Yes.
So it's part-time.
Or if you've got some, I mean, there are detect spells.
It's the
Find
range is the
enemy.
problem. What's the range of find enemy?
It's about 150 meters, something like that.
Okay. But that's a rune spell, you see, so...
Yeah.
And the problem with
Yeah,
rune spells
the
is you're
spirit magic
limited.
festival. There's
Yeah.
also detect enemy.
Mm.
Detect life, Matty, might be handy, mightn't it?
Yeah.
Let's just use... I'll use Farsi first.
Okay,
To
make
see,
the roll.
to see
I
if
like
there's
this
anything
style.
there. Okay. Oh, for God's sake.
Okay, so as you are attempting to cast a spirit magic spell, your vision is strangely occluded for the moment. We will find out what happens next when we return.
Awesome.
Part two.
Right, see you all in a minute. Don't touch that doll.